Part 29. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 281. Don't scare me, Confucius said, it's not the fault of strength that disturbs spirit, it's such a mess. Believe it or not, please warn Li Wei's father not to let her talk nonsense, so as not to frighten my wife. Qin Yanxi also came up with a brilliant idea, to treat the other person in the same way. Learn how to write anonymous letters like her. Tell him that he has control over all her future movements, including her purpose of marrying Feng Shuangzi. If you dare to be dishonest, tell Feng Shuangzi the truth and see how she reacts. Qin Yanjun's expression was slightly distorted. Hey, I still have a wife, and you didn't hold a wedding with me. That's all thanks to your preference and not scheduling the date ahead. Earlier you wrote to me asking me about marrying a wife. Did I reply to you? Marriage matters are all decided by my parents. But you arranged for another person to meet Sci-fi. Qin Yanjun murmured in a low voice, if you two are not on good terms, how can you rely on me? And the days are made up of the 8 characters, and they are not arranged by me. It is destined by God that Sci is not your wife. Are you ashamed of occupying other people's homes? What are you mumbling about? Qin Yanxi stared at him. Qin Yanjun smiled, I was talking about how to warn Lao Li. He deliberately interrupted and diverted his attention. One more thing, Sci gave your mother a shampoo. Your mother said it was somewhat effective, and many tiny little hairs appeared on the front of my forehead. The scent lasts for a day or two after washing, so people at their workplace asked where to buy it and how much it cost. Can't she ask it herself? You didn't come home this week, she wanted to ask, but there was no one there. Qin Yanxi glanced at him coldly. The man's last 2 messages were all bad things about his parents. Either he indulged Lu Yuechun in finding trouble at the family dinner. Either he was not tough enough in exposing Lu Yuechun's falsified medical records, etc. When listening to what his father said now, he guessed that his mother might still treat Sci harshly and do things in a roundabout way. How could she be less pretentious about elders in front of Sci? In other words, Sisi is open-minded and doesn't care about things. But he could not leave his mother alone. He had to give her eye drops, and he said politely, tell her, we are always at home, why can't she find anyone? Is it because she thinks it's embarrassing to beg her daughter-in-law and refuses to open her mouth? Qin Yanjun was displeased, why do you have so many concerns? Only children visit their parents. How can parents always go to their children? Besides, you should go back to live on weekends. Is it reasonable for you not to go back? According to you, Sci is also afraid of losing face. Do you want to tell me something? I see the trouble with the surname Lu. Then again, Sisi is not your daughter, so how can I speak conveniently? Whose daughter-in-law often visits her father-in-law? What will it look like if word spreads about it? You are not embarrassed, but I am ashamed. Qin Yanjun, you brat, can't you speak properly? I'm not good at talking, I'll talk to you about something else tomorrow. Qin Yanjun, he drank water to calm down angrily, paused and then said, it's about the shampoo. 2 yuan a can, will help bring it. Qin Yanxi deliberately added 50 cents. Mother's friends are certainly not short of money. The person left a message and said that the shampoo was made bit by bit using ingredients they had spent half a month and traveling to several mountains to dig. The other party's move was intended to tell him that the shared experience he had with Sisi would never be comparable to him in this life. But it also provided him with a lot of information to safeguard her interests. It's not cheap. A jar that big can last half a year, it costs more than a penny a day. Isn't it too expensive? Then don't buy it. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 282. Qin Yanjun, when did you become so good at settling accounts? If you don't know such a simple calculation, how can you get into college? I didn't mean what you said. Qin Yanjun drank water again. Forget it, I can't defeat you, so let's just leave it at that. Then you're busy. Qin Yan resigned and left. Qin Yanjun's heart was filled with worry again, and neither of them could worry about it. When Qin Yanxi returned to the family courtyard, Ying Sisi had already prepared breakfast and was waiting for him. "Aci, where are you? I also want to ask you, you didn't see anyone when you got up early in the morning." "I was shopping for groceries. When I came back, I met the man downstairs. He kept talking to me and offered to give me some copper coins. When he saw that I really refused to accept them, he asked me if he could come over to his house for dinner. It was quite fun." "So you agreed?" Ying Sisi nodded. "How about more pairs of chopsticks, and he doesn't come here to eat every day. I saw that their house has started to clean up, and it is estimated that they will be able to light a fire in more than a week." She pulled him and said, "Let's eat quickly." After waiting for him for a long time, he was so hungry. After a meal, the two of them biked to their destination. The closer they got to the foot of the mountain, the more flowers bloomed along the road. Ying Sisi said, "In our hometown in the south, the flowers have almost faded now, and the ones in the north are just blooming. They are so beautiful. My grandma originally gave me a pair of shoes every year, all with peach blossoms embroidered on them. But then she became presbyopic and was not happy. Take action. Even if they are equipped with glasses, the elderly do not like to wear them. It feels uncomfortable on the bridge of the nose." Qin Yanxi was able to adapt. "I'll draw it for you," Qin Yanxi said. "You know how to draw, I've never heard of you mentioning it before." "Qin Yanxi, my skills are not good, I'm sorry to mention it." "Memory," Ying Sisi smiled, "it's okay, I can understand." Qin Yanxi knew that she had misunderstood, so he did not explain. "Yeah." Passed by a shop selling stationery, I went in to pick up paper, pens, and paints, and continued on. I first stored my car when I arrived at the place, and then walked up the steps at the foot of the mountain, stopping and stopping along the way. It was already 2 hours after I reached the top, and this time I didn't meet the photographer. Qin Yan said, "Sisi, why don't you find a quiet place to sit, it's convenient for you to draw." Ying Sisi searched around, pointed to the northwest and said, there are many shady trees. Everyone likes to go to places with abundant sunshine. There must be fewer people here." "Okay." The two of them walked over. The Qin banquet arranged for Ying Sisi to sit facing the light. "I like painting from this angle. I don't ask for any restoration, but please don't paint me ugly," Ying Sisi said with special concern. Wait a minute." Ying Sisi took out the small notebook she carried with her and opened it, pretending to read. "Painting like this makes me look literate." Qin Yanxi responded with a smile. About half an hour later, he said, "Sisi, it's almost done." Ying Sisi immediately stood up and walked to his side. With a few simple strokes, she sketched out her charm. Whether it was coloring or not, it looked like a sample in a calligraphy and painting shop. "You are so awesome, you look like me right now, and the background is also very artistic. Do you like it?" "Like." After Qin Yanxi put away his pen, he handed the painting to her. She held it and looked at it, couldn't put it down and said, "I'll frame this painting and put it in the living room later." Upon hearing this, Qin Yanxi asked for the painting back and signed his name in the lower right corner. "Set up the living room to show the guy how much Sisi likes his paintings. This is just great." Ying Sisi took over the appreciation again. "Sisi, please stay here for a while I go to the toilet." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash Marriage of the Era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 283. Is there a toilet here? There is a simple one ahead, do you want to go? I'm not going. Yang Ceci's eyes returned to the painting. At this time, a slightly aged voice came. Si. Yang Ceci looked up and saw Mr. Shen, accompanied by Shen Zhengrong and the girl she saw next to Shen. Are you last time? I didn't expect to meet you here. Mr. Shen smiled and said, why did you run away when you saw me last time? I have always wanted to find you again, but your dad disagreed and told you to calm down and calm down. I am looking forward to your return every day. As for the Shen family, when will you go back? I will hold a welcome party for you and take you to meet our relatives. The smile on Yang Ceci's face gradually faded. She closed her book and said, welcome party? How many relatives do we have in our family? Shen Zhengrong heard that she was setting a trap. He said to Mr. Shen, don't continue talking. Mr. Shen didn't know the situation and glared at him, what are you doing against me? If your arms are itchy, rub the bark of the tree. He smiled again when facing Yang Ceci. We have many relatives in our family, there are 50 or 60 close relatives alone. It's a pity that in your generation, there are fewer people. No one is willing to have more children. Your second uncle and your father, only Zhengrong, and you. There are 50 or 60 close relatives, how come he is the only one who listened to Uncle Shen's words? Yang Ceci glanced at Shen Zhengrong, and continued, it seems that everyone is only superficially close, and they are not united on the inside. I won't go back. If you have any etiquette, I don't know how to be polite, and I am disliked by others for being a country person who cannot stand on the stage, or they say that I am greedy for the benefits of the Shen family. I value my reputation most and cannot stand these comments. Mr. Shen choked. This girl. He has a really sharp mouth. He smiled good-naturedly, your dad is just a seedling, and all the benefits are yours. Who has the right to say you are greedy? If I hear you, see if I don't deal with them. If you don't want to hold a welcome party, then we won't hold it. It's okay to get together with your family. Including her, Yang Ceci quickly pointed to the girl next to Shen Zhengrong. I almost forgot to introduce you, this is the eldest son of your sister-in-law's family, Yan Yi. You are 2 years younger, she is 18. Yan Yi jumped in and said, I am in my senior year of high school this year. My class organized a spring outing, and my grandpa and cousin came to accompany me. At 18, I still need company, and I have no independence at all. When I was 12, in order to have money to buy white rice, I would get up before dawn and walk dozens of miles of mountain roads to the city to secretly sell mountain products. Yang Sic's tone was calm. Mr. Shen felt uncomfortable. He had to run for a living at the age of 10. Si, you have suffered a lot. Come back so that we can make it up to you. What about my mother, can she be moved into your ancestral grave and enshrined in the ancestral temple? Mr. Shen is in trouble. The girl hasn't even married the third child, so how can she enter the ancestral grave? How can any woman enter the ancestral temple? Let alone Sic's mother, even his old lady is not qualified to enter the ancestral temple to worship. He said, our family does not have an ancestral grave or ancestral temple here. I can arrange for your mother to move to the cemetery. I'm talking about your hometown in Annan. I asked about your family's ancestral temple there. You go back to your hometown every year during the Chinese New Year to worship your ancestors. And because of you, the fellow villagers didn't dare to demolish it even when the chaos was at its worst. Your ancestral hall. Mr. Shen, how come this girl knows everything? Did Qin Yanjun say that? Are you coming alone? He changed the subject. Yang Ceci stubbornly asked, can my mother enter your ancestral tomb and ancestral hall? There is a saying in their hometown that entering the ancestral tomb and ancestral hall, receiving incense from future generations and accumulating merit can lead to reincarnation. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 284. My mother died young and died in childbirth. The villagers were very taboo and did not allow her to enter the ancestral grave. She could only stay alone on the mountain. The lonely ghosts in the stories the old lady told her were just like her mother. Mr. Shen couldn't get off the stage and hesitated. This. My great-grandmother has not even entered the ancestral hall. What qualifications does your mother have? She is uneducated. Besides, can anyone enter the ancestral hall if they want to? Men can't enter without any contribution, let alone women. Your mother gave birth to you. As if that's a lot of credit. You said you walked up the mountain to eat white rice. Isn't there prey on the mountain? Isn't the meat you hunted more nutritious than white rice? Yan Yi was indignant. For a village girl, being able to enter the Shen family gate is already considered a high level. They actually want to enter ancestral graves and ancestral halls to receive offerings from future generations. Shen Zhengrong said in a deep voice, "There are mountains around here, why don't you go hunting for some meat? It doesn't hurt to stand and talk." Yan Yi said, "I'm not from the mountains, so I don't know how to hunt." "You don't understand, SISI doesn't understand." Mr. Shen also said, "Xiao Ai has gone too far. If your cousin hadn't made her own decision because of your mother, she would have been studying in college like your third cousin. How could she have endured so much hardship? Apologize to your cousin." Yan Yi is disdainful. How smart can a child born to a village girl be? If you are not allowed to pass the exam, your uncle will need to go through the back door. She said reluctantly, "I'm sorry, cousin. Uncle Shen has severed ties with your mother, right?" In response to Ceci's words, "Who is your cousin?" Yan Yi. Mr. Shen cleared his throat. "SISI, you should persuade your father. It turns out we really broke off the relationship, but I'm still not relieved. She just lost the protection of one of her 3 brothers, and I lost my mother. Grandpa Shen, do you know how children without parents grow up? As soon as you go out, others will point fingers. Did you see it? That is Yingxian's child. She has a very tough life. She has never been sick. She was the one who killed her mother. As I grow older, more eyes are staring at me. Especially men. You are also a man, do you know what that means? How do you think I dealt with them? The village was killing pigs during the Chinese New Year, and I rushed over to bleed them. The white knife went in and the red knife came out." She described the situation vividly. Yan Yi's face turned pale with fright. Shen Zhengrong was also sweating coldly and took 2 steps back without leaving a trace. "The bruises on my neck from being pinched last time have faded early, but now I feel a vague pain." Mr. Shen choked up and said distressedly, "SISI, hey, you want to blame me, blame me." Ying Cixi smiled, she was lying. It's okay to kill fish and chickens. How dare she kill a pig? She just happened to be watching. Most of the men who stare at her are from other villages, but this village would not dare to do so. After all, everyone knows them, unless they no longer want to stay in the village. You are an elder and don't know anything about it? How could I blame you? Every wrong has its own debtor. I only blame this woman's mother for taking advantage of others' danger, and blame myself for not being lucky enough to enjoy the care of my parents. That's the end of the matter. Just treat me as a person and let's not disturb each other." After she finished speaking, she held the album in her arms and walked in the direction where Qin Yanxi left. Mr. Shen's mood suddenly dropped. He really didn't recognize them. Hey, SISI has such a temper, why is he so stubborn? Who do you want to follow? Shen Zhengrong, didn't you say that she will follow you? Mr. Shen. Please vote. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 285. Ying Sisi walked forward for a while and met Qin Yanxi head-on. "Sisi, are you looking for me? If I'm not looking for you, who am I looking for?" Qin Yanxi had a faint smile on his face. "There is nothing to see here. There is a tea house 2 kilometers away in the direction you came from. The scenery over there is very good. Would you like to go and sit there?" "Tea house, why didn't you tell me the first 2 times?" Qin Yanxi lowered his eyelashes. At that time, he only focused on observing her, but how could he think of the tea house? And it was not him who accompanied him to climb the mountain for the second time. "Say no at this time." "Okay. Let's go." Ying Sisi took his arm. It was approaching noon and the temperature had risen a lot. Ying Sisi took off her coat because she was too hot. Qin Yanxi took it naturally. "I have something to do tonight and may not go home." "You don't have to wait for me." Ying Sisi is curious. "What needs to stay up all night? Do you want to ask in detail to express your concern? If I ask too many questions, will he get angry?" She thought about it secretly and decided not to ask. "You are busy with your business," she added. "Come back early. If you are suddenly not at home, I may lose sleep." The corners of Qin Yanxi's mouth turned up, and at the same time, she secretly regretted that after today, there would be another person accompanying her. He reluctantly held her hand and agreed, "Okay," feeling the cold touch of the gold bracelet on her wrist. "Actually, this is mine." In the early years when his grandmother was still alive, he gave him this pair of gold bracelets and asked him to give them to his wife in the future. As a result, he was not the one who handed the bracelet to his wife with his own hands. Ying Sisi heard the helplessness in his tone and was very puzzled. "What's yours?" Qin Yanxi recovered his thoughts and pretended to be stupid. "Are you talking to me?" Ying Sisi whispered, "If I am not with you, how can I be with a ghost? Since you don't admit it, I also deny it." Then he replied, "No, I'm just saying hello to fellow travelers." The two kept moving forward. Ying Sisi looked at the foot of the mountain that was getting closer and closer, as if he had discovered a new continent. "It turns out there is a shortcut up the mountain here. No wonder there are not many people climbing today, but there are so many people at the top of the mountain. There is actually a shortcut. Mr. Shen also went up the mountain via this road, right?" Qin Yanxi couldn't help laughing. "Do you know next time?" "Know it?" The two of them entered the tea house while chatting, and the good seats were already occupied. Looking around, his eyes met Mr. Shen at the window. Mr. Shen showed a kind smile again. "Sisi, we have met again. Are we destined? Are you thirsty? Come and sit quickly. Zhengrong, let the salesperson serve a pot of good longjing." "No need." Ying Sisi pulled Qin Yanxi and rushed out of the tea house. Mr. Shen sighed and lost the intention of drinking tea. "Zhengrong, I want to go back. I have been out for a long time and I am a little tired." Yan Yi disagreed. "I haven't had all the fun yet." "Can't you find your classmate if you don't have fun?" Mr. Shen was full of opinions about Yan Yi. He knew that his mother was at fault, but he didn't find a way to repair the relationship with Sisi. Instead, he ignored her, saying that there was no white rice to hunt for. Meat. Ignorant and self-righteous. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. "Don't come home from now on. I'll be annoyed when I see you." Yan Yi ran away crying. Mr. Shen watched her off until she was out of sight. Shen Zhengrong said worriedly, "Grandpa, if we just let Xiaoi go, nothing will happen, right?" Mr. Shen raised his eyebrows. "What can happen when you are 18? Didn't you listen to what Sisi said? When you are 12, you can walk dozens of miles of mountain roads to sell goods alone, not to mention that it is convenient to go to her home or her school here. It's not like she doesn't have money on her for a ride." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 286. Then let's go back. Go back, my granddaughter doesn't recognize me, I feel bad. After Ying Cixi and Qin Yanxi left the tea house, their hearts that had finally healed began to tear apart again. Even if Shen Ru interfered with her mother's matter, as an elder, the old man could not escape the blame. Now that he says you have to admit it, don't you think it's too much and unreasonable? Her eyes turned red just thinking about it. After Qin Yanxi noticed it, he comforted him, Cixi, they are strangers to you. There is no need to worry about them. Look at the sweat on your head. Is it hot? There is a cool place over there. Let's sit there and rest. Ying Cixi forced back her tears and forced a smile, yeah. Arrived in the shade. Qin Yanxi found that next to the cliff, the below was very steep, change a place. Just here, the view is pretty good. Ying Cixi sat on the stone and said, ACI, I'm a little thirsty. I'll buy a pot of tea from the tea house. Qin Yanxi warned before leaving, be careful of the ahead. After Qin Yan resigned, Ying Cixi took out the painting he had painted for herself and looked at it. Thinking about the subject and describing her stroke by stroke. She felt sweet in her heart, and the gloom in her heart gradually subsided, with a smile on her face, and she said silently, the painting is really good, I will ask him to teach me how to paint tomorrow. She was fascinated by what she saw. I heard a voice, if you dare to bully me, go to hell. Ying Cixi turned her head, and Yan Yi pounced on her with a ferocious face. There is a steep 2 steps ahead. If Yan Yi's force touches her body, she will definitely fall. No matter how good her physical condition is, she cannot touch the stone. A strong desire to survive burst out, and she almost instinctively rolled to the side. Yan Yi pushed an empty one. The body flew out like a cannonball. A scream followed by a muffled sound. Ying Cixi didn't dare to look, but she didn't leave either. Look around with your peripheral vision. The people around me didn't seem to know what was going on. So is it? This place is a bit remote. Even if someone passes by, they are tired from climbing and are in a hurry to get down. Who has time to look after others? Even if you notice someone shouting, but you can't see the other person when you raise your eyes, who will stop? She waited for Qin Yanxi to come back and drank his tea before telling him what happened just now. Qin Yanxi stretched his head and looked down the slope, but found no one. There's nothing down there. Ying Cixi looked around and saw the corner of Yan Yi's clothes, and pointed it out to Qin Yanxi, did you see it? It was smashed into the fallen leaves? Now I see it. Ying Cixi, let's call for help. Qin Yanxi covered her mouth, if she disappears, her family will naturally look for her. Once you shout, they will think that you are the one who pushed it, so we will pretend that we don't know. Whether she is dead or alive is all hers. It's something you asked for, it has nothing to do with us. Ying Cixi was persuaded. This woman's mother was the culprit who harmed her own mother. Now that he has come to harm her again, he is indeed asking for it. Had she been compassionate for one more minute, everything she had experienced would have been deserved. She nodded and said, yes. After returning the tea set, the two of them calmly descended the mountain. Passing by the mall, I took a stroll at Cixi's suggestion and bought fabrics for him to make clothes. Qin Yanxi took a fancy to a darker colored fabric. When Ying Cixi was about to pay, he held her hand down and said, I'll do it myself. When he was carrying the cloth out of the mall, he said, are you rushing to pay everyone's bill? No, you are my partner and one of my own. It doesn't matter who pays the bill. As an outsider, if it is useful to me, I will pay. If it is not useful, I will not be taken advantage of. Qin Yanxi was very satisfied with her answer, me too. Ying Ceci's eyelashes curled up, let's go. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 287. The two of them bought another picture frame to mount the picture on, and then returned to the courtyard. After entering the house, Ying Ceci sat in the living room and drank a cup of tea. She found a sewing basket, spread out the fabric and drew cutting lines on it with chalk. Qin Yanxi silently framed the painting and placed it next to the photo of him and Ying Ceci. He watched her draw the cutting lines and praised, "You are also good at painting. Where do you see something good? The strokes are smooth from end to end." She has a bit of talent. Qin Yanxi felt more and more smart, that she was not only smart in business, but also in terms of energy. She was no less than a man in all aspects. He had just rested after climbing the mountain and reached home. She had already started doing things. "Si, are you tired?" "Not tired." Qin Yanxi added, "Dad told me that several of Mom's colleagues were interested in your shampoo. They asked me where they bought it, and I told him that we could buy it for 2 yuan a can. If Mom comes to you, if so, just sell them the few cans you can't sell at home." Ying Ceci was shocked. "I already think $1.50 is very expensive, but you dare to ask for $2. Her heart was darker than hers. She likes it very much. Qin Yanxi raised his eyebrows. "Why don't you dare? I'll make some more and sell a jar." Ying Ceci put down her work and sent Ding Xia. She threw the Polygonum multiflorum aside, washed it and steamed it in a pot. She didn't know how to handle Polygonum multiflorum before. It was boiled together with other ingredients to make a shampoo. Soon after the three of them tried it, they felt dizzy. Old ladies are the most serious. After seeing the village doctor, I found out that Polygonum multiflorum is poisonous. It needs to be steamed and sunned multiple times to remove the toxicity. Their symptoms are poisonous. Because the dose is small, the condition is mild. While placing Polygonum multiflorum, she complained, "The stoves in the city are too limited. One pot can only be used for 5 or 6, which is not as practical as the large earthen stoves in the countryside. There is an earthen stove in the courtyard, so you can go back to the courtyard to make it." How could Ying Ceci dare to act rashly? It's better to say goodbye. If someone named Lu finds out and reports me, wouldn't I be miserable? I can make a plan to let her go, Qin Yanxi said. Ying Ceci had just finished putting the Polygonum multiflorum, covered the pot, and held his hand with both hands. "Aci, don't worry about these things. If you need a large amount, I have a way. You can just study in peace." He said, "It's been a worryingly leisurely time. I heard that people with a bad mental state cannot accept the stimulation of failure. The college entrance examination selects the proud son of heaven. So the university is to select the better people from among the proud ones." She was very afraid that he would not do well in college and would feel frustrated and give up on himself. Qin Yanxi felt strange. She warned him so solemnly just to let him concentrate on studying. She was so kind to him. "I listen to you." Ying Ceci became happy after receiving the promise, and returned to the coffee table to continue cutting fabrics. After finishing, put the steamed Polygonum multiflorum on the balcony to dry. Then he went into the kitchen and started cooking. When laying the dishes, she asked Qin Yanxi to call the old man downstairs. Soon, the old man came and said it was sweet as soon as he entered the door. "The food you cook is much better than that of my daughter-in-law. If you had known my son 10 years earlier, you would have been my daughter-in-law." Qin Yanxi's face was as cold as cold. "Master, you are here to eat, or you are here to dream." The old man had a sly expression. Ying Ceci smiled and said, "My partner speaks quickly, please don't take it to heart." The uncle had almost finished eating. He put down his bowl and chopsticks and looked at the Polygonum multiflorum on the balcony. Where did the Polygonum multiflorum come from? You know him. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 288. When I was young, I was a famous doctor from all over the country. How could I not recognize Polygonum multiflorum? I'm not bragging. I retired at home, and the health center in my hometown asked me to come and work. I originally agreed, but my son didn't agree and insisted on calling me. I went to the city to enjoy my life, so I reluctantly came here. The uncle fiddled with the Polygonum multiflorum twice and said, "The big ones are good, but the small ones are not good and they are young. The bigger they grow, the longer they are and their medicinal properties are better. The better, if you use it to nourish your body. I will go back to my hometown and dig up some good ones for you." There's one in your hometown, too. What's not there in the mountains? Yang Sisi refused and said, "I don't want it from you. I'm already old. What if you get sprained while climbing the mountain? Wouldn't I call for help when I'm in Wajiao? Besides, I've lived in the mountains for most of my life, so I know every plant and tree." Yang Sisi rolled her eyes and took out the homemade shampoo. "My father-in-law lost his hair and bought this jar of hair growth cream with Polygonum multiflorum. I always felt that it was impossible to add Polygonum multiflorum in it, so I asked someone to get some. Ready to add it? Please tell me, besides adding Polygonum multiflorum, what else can be added to help promote hair growth without damaging the scalp?" The old man came closer to smell it, and named several medicinal materials in succession, and gave the reply, "There is no shortage, but this smell is offensive to the nose. I think the sweet-scented Osman thus smells pretty good. It has a light fragrance. I don't like smelling it, so I'll buy mint instead. I can wash it on my head to keep it cool. It can also repel insects in summer," the old man said. Yang Sisi thinks it is feasible. Why didn't she think of using mint? When the weather gets warmer, she will find mint, purify it and add it to the hair growth cream. How much does this can cost? $1.05. It's not expensive. The smell of medicinal herbs is quite strong. My son has been promoted in the past 2 years. He may be under a lot of pressure and his hair is a little thin. I stewed the medicine for him to replenish his body, but my daughter-in-law threw it away in front of me. She said that my local recipes were not good. She was particularly dependent on Western medicine and made some messy nutritional supplements for my son to eat all day long. Eating won't make you bad, but it won't make you any better either. The daughter-in-law should be fine with it if she switches to a hair washer. Can you sell me this jar first? Yang Sisi has confidence. Doctors all affirm her hair growth cream. The effect is definitely no worse than what is sold in the store. It's a pity that she can't promote it in a big way, otherwise she will definitely make a fortune. She said happily, "Okay, I'll give it to you. It's already embarrassing to eat for free. How can I get it for free?" After the old man left with the hair growth cream, he quickly got back $1.50. "I'm going back to my hometown tomorrow, so I don't need to prepare my meal. I'll give it to you then. Send it here, please pay attention to receive it. Go back to your hometown for me." Yang Sisi couldn't bear it and reiterated, "I don't want your medicinal materials. I don't want to live under the same roof as my daughter-in-law. She's too annoying. I'd rather go back to my hometown to be clean. I have 3 girls in my family who are married not far from me." Yang Sisi, is your son the youngest? The second child the eldest, the third, the fourth is a girl, and the fourth is also a doctor. The old man mentioned his 4th daughter with a proud tone. No more chatting. Hey, please go slowly. Yang Sisi sent him out, turned around and whispered, "I don't know that the uncle's family is quite powerful, and he is not a patriarchal person. I thought he was just ordinary and dirty old man. Chin Yancy, I see that if he takes off his shoes when eating and touches his toes with chopsticks, it is not a loss for his daughter-in-law to dislike him. He also disliked him. Sci could bear it. Obviously she also likes to be clean. It's no wonder that she is so rare to people, she doesn't have so many rules when getting along with her. Yang Cixi didn't care, old man, let him do as he pleases. Please vote. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 289. It was dusk, and the night sky was twinkling with stars. Qin Yanxi said goodbye to Yang Cixi with infinite reluctance. As soon as he returned to the courtyard, he locked himself in the room and wrote anonymous letters. When Lu Yuechun drew the curtains, he caught a glimpse of the light in the wing room. He looked back at Qin Jin and said, "Why don't I say hello to you every time I come to the banquet? He even ignores my parents. Do you expect him to ignore me? Plus, for what you did, he didn't take revenge for the sake of his brother." Qin Jin looked at the light coming from the window of the wing. "It's so late, I don't know what he is doing when he comes back. Could it be that his parents promised him benefits and he came here specifically to discuss it?" The more Lu Yuechun thought about it, the more uncomfortable he became. He is also a son and a parent. Even if a bowl of water cannot be balanced, he should not blindly do it. Partiality, right? What's more, Qin Yanxi is now backed by the Shen family. The old couple don't need to worry at all, they should focus on Qin and Jin. She spoke elegantly. Yanxi is already a student at Yanjing University. Whether he pursues an official career or stays in school to focus on academic research, he will be fine. On the contrary, your last promotion was 5 years ago. I don't want to think about it anymore. The solution is that when your father retires, your career will stop. If you were a brother from another family, you might still be able to help you, but you will look like an enemy. Qin and Jin were non-committal. A younger brother from another family, be respectful and polite. His younger brother, who was rebellious by nature, never took him seriously. I once threatened in front of my parents that I would never be respectful to my brothers and friends. Now that I have been admitted to university again, I am even more proud of myself. When parents have something good for them, the first thing they think of is the banquet speech. This is obviously unfair to myself." He decided to come to the house to check on the conversation. He scolded, "Don't sow discord. I don't know if Sci is following me when I come back so late. Maybe I had a quarrel with Sci. I'll go over and ask. If it's a disagreement between husband and wife, it's better to resolve it." Lu Yuechun achieved her goal and didn't care about Qin Jin's attitude towards her. "Follow him and say, hey." Qin Jin went to the door of the wing and knocked gently. "Yanxi, it's me. Come in, the door is unlocked." Qin Yanxi responded calmly. Qin Jin pushed the door open and entered. Seeing Qin Yanxi holding a book in his hand, he asked with concern, "You are still reading so late at night?" He glanced around and saw the scene in the room clearly. "Didn't Cixi come back with you?" "What? Do you miss her?" Qin Yanxi glanced coldly. Qin Jin was stunned for a long time before he responded, "What are you talking about?" "Qin Yanxi, you mention her first." Qin Jin choked, "I thought you were quarreling, so you left her behind. It seems that you have thrown away your partner. Don't worry, even if you and your partner fight, Cixi and I will not quarrel, let alone abandon her." When Qin Yanxi said this, the corner of his mouth was dyed with a trace of ruruo. Wu smiled, "Cixi is very good, but your wife is very bad. If I were you, I would be the same. Just like that Li Yue. The character of being born a monster is disgusting." "You," Qin Jin looked back angrily. Qin Yanxi's eyes were fixed on him, half smiling but not smiling. "What am I?" Qin Jin clenched his fists, turned around and walked away. Qin Yanxi closed the door, took out the envelope from the book, went out and dropped the letter into the mailbox closest to home. Return again. Lock the door and record what happened in the past few days and the people you met. At the same time, she recounted her general experience with Ying Cixi, and made it clear that she had doubts about them. Flash marriage of the era. Married to a crazy husband who amazes everyone. Author, Yuan. Chapter 290. Have done all this. It's already 11 o'clock. Previously, every time when it was time to switch back, my body always felt uncomfortable. Tired, drowsy. Today he didn't feel that way. He closed his eyes and recalled the daily life with Sci-fi these days, and couldn't help laughing. Qin Yanjun woke up at night and heard some noise. He came close and knocked on the door. Is this a banquet speech? Yes. Qin Yanjun, what sweet dream did you have in the middle of the night to laugh like this? I dreamed that Sci gave birth to 10 grandsons for you. Stop talking nonsense. Qin Yanjun pushed the door open and reached out to turn on the light. Qin Yanxi's head was swollen due to the stimulation of the light, and he violently covered his eyes with his hands. It's past midnight and you're still not asleep, Qin Yanjun said, looking at the clock on the wall. Qin Yanxi touched his glasses and put them on. Qin Yanjun said strangely, is it the 6th day of the Lunar New Year today? Qin Yanxi was surprised that he still existed. Could it be because he woke up half an hour late last time? So that guy's method doesn't work? He suddenly smiled and said, yeah, what? You want me to leave? What are you talking about? They are all my sons, and I can't bear to part with either of them. Qin Yanjun imagined how great it would be if they were twins countless times. They are both equally smart. Especially at this moment, he has a deep mind and knows how to control his emotions, so he is very suitable for taking this path. The other one is not sociable. You can pursue academic research, which can also bring glory to the family. Did you and the other person say the same thing? Qin Yanjun denied. How can it be possible? Qin Yanxi looked directly at the other party, noticed the slight twinkle in Qin Yanjun's eyes, and had the answer in his heart. He didn't blame his father. After all, that person had been around for a long time and had a deep relationship with his father. He said slightly frustrated, it's getting late, I want to rest. Qin Yanjun said a few words of concern and then left. Qin Yanxi closed the door and couldn't fall asleep. He looked at the time and saw that it was 1:30. Wake up an hour late and get an hour and a half? And he has not felt any discomfort so far. It seems that his time has been extended. He decided to go back to find Sci. Received the message, locked the door, and rushed back to the courtyard overnight. Ying Cixi woke up once in the middle of the night. She couldn't sleep and turned on the light to read Journey to the West. Hearing the movement outside, I guessed it was Qin Yanxi. Go out to greet him. The man wears glasses, and his hair is blown back by the wind due to riding a bicycle, exposing his forehead, which makes his facial features even more three-dimensional. Her ACI is so beautiful. She smiled and said, is the matter done? It's done. Why aren't you sleeping yet? I've already woken up. I'll give you water to wash up. Ying Cixi walked to the bathroom. I will do it myself. Qin Yanxi finished dressing and returned to the room. Ying Cixi was already lying down, with the Journey to the West book she often read on the bedside. Sci. Ying Cixi turned around and moved closer to him. Qin Yan said, have you finished reading Journey to the West? What principles did you realize? It's almost finished. Monsters with a backing will be rescued when they commit crimes, while those without a backing will be beaten to death, and they will be pursued everywhere for doing business like ordinary people. Ying Cixi said, this book is telling me that as long as I return when I go to the Shen family, I will no longer be an ordinary person. Have you figured it out? Are you ready to go back? Yang Cixi shook her head. This book only expounds the author's own views, but it does not represent mine. The old lady once told her a story about a carp turning into a dragon, and she felt that that story was suitable for her. Even a fish can turn into a dragon as long as it crosses the dragon gate. She believes she can.